A very warm and pleasant afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the online consultation meeting on the 2023 Performance-Based Bonus. My name is Andrea Daine Montalban of the AO25 Secretariat, and it is my honor to be your host for this afternoon. We are live via the AO25 Secretariat YouTube channel and Facebook page to ensure that our PBB focal persons from across the country are well informed about the PBB. I hope that everyone will find this afternoon's program helpful and informative. Now, before we proceed with our meeting proper, we wish to remind everyone the following. The AO25 Secretariat is recording this session. For our Zoom participants, kindly turn off your microphones and wait for your turn to speak to avoid unnecessary background noise during the discussions. You may leave your comments or questions on the live chat of this YouTube video or on our PBB Facebook page. For easy recognition, kindly indicate your name and agency in your comments. Comments will be discussed during the Q&A portion. For questions specific to your agencies, please send an email to ao25secretariat@dap.edu.ph. We thank you for your cooperation. Also with us today, let us welcome the members of the AO25 Technical Working Group and Oversight Agencies from the Office of the President, the Department of Budget and Management, and the DBM-BMBs, DBM-OPCCP, DBM-OCIO, DBM-SPIB, the Department of Finance, the National Economic and Development Authority, the Presidential Management Staff, the Civil Service Commission, the Commission on Audit, the Office of the Ombudsman, the Career Executive Service Board, the Procurement Service, PhilJEPS, GPPB, TSO, the Presidential Communications Office, the Philippine Competition Commission, the Anti-Red Tape Authority, the Commission on Higher Education, the Governance Commission for GOCCs, the Local Water Utilities Administration, the Department of the Interior and Local Government, and the Development Academy of the Philippines. For this afternoon's online consultation meeting, we will provide you with the following. Updates on the 2021 and 2022 PBB. Highlights of the 2023 PBB. Eligibility criteria. Submission and timelines. Other reminders. And of course, the much-awaited Q&A portion to clarify your questions regarding the 2023 PBB. Again, you may leave your questions in the comment box of this live stream via our YouTube or Facebook page. Please include your name and agency. For this afternoon, we aim to provide updates on the 2021 and 2022 PBB, surface clarifications, and have a better understanding of the criteria and conditions of the 2023 PBB requirements, and enable the agencies to comply with the PBB requirements. Now, to formally welcome everyone to this online consultation meeting, let's all hear the opening message of Assistant Secretary Achilles Gerard Bravo, the Chair of the AO25 Interagency Task Force and Technical Working Group, and the Functional Group Head of the DBM Internal Management Group.
A pleasant afternoon to everyone, to our AO Technical Working Group members, Oversight and Validating Agencies, and all our PBB focal persons joining us online today. Through the years of successful implementation in recognizing and rewarding commendable accomplishment by agencies of the national government and employees, we have now reached the 12th implementation cycle of the Results-Based Performance Management System and Performance-Based Bonus. As part of our continued efforts to improve the PBB process, the AO25 Task Force annually issues the guidelines for the grant of the PBB, in which we continue to adhere with our commitment to the timely release of the incentives and implement a simplified scheme with refined requirements and scoring system. With the support of our task force principals, we successfully issued the approved and signed the fiscal year 2023 PBB guidelines last August 22, 2023. The fiscal year 2023 PBB will intensify transparency and disclosure in public spending information through the timely delivery of government programs and projects. Even during the times of adversity, such as health emergencies and natural hazards like the COVID-19 pandemic, we aim to further ease transactions in government services by continuously implementing process improvement efforts, contributing to the ease of doing business and efficient delivery of government services. Further, ensure that the transacting public is satisfied with the delivery of our public services. We greatly appreciate the agency's performance and accomplishments in realizing government programs through the years, despite the many challenges and changes that we have faced in recent years. With this, it is our pledge to continually improve our processes in achieving our goals of institutionalizing the culture of performance among government agencies and recognizing the dedication and exemplary performance of our public sector employees. Same in the previous years, when we began implementing this incentive scheme, we want to emphasize that the PBB is not just a monetary bonus, but a validation of our hard work and allegiance in delivering high quality, impactful, and purposeful services to the public. PBB is an incentive system for rewarding meritorious performance of not just agencies but also individuals. The AO 25 hopes that with the fiscal year 2023 PBB, we will sustain assistance to agencies in realizing essential government programs and societal goals and provide quality public service guaranteed with respect and duly recognized agency and individual efforts. We sincerely appreciate your continued support and participation in the PBB implementation since fiscal year 2012, a decade of far-reaching government performance and productivity. Thank you and have a great day ahead.
Thank you very much, Asec Bravo, for your warm welcome. Now, we will proceed with updates on the 2021 and 2022 PBB, followed by the highlights of the 2023 PBB guidelines to be presented by the AO25 Secretariat Program Director, Ms. Maria Rosario Ablan. Good afternoon, Ma'am Ochi.
Okay, magandang hapon po sa lahat. Okay, nandito po kami, AO25 Secretariat. Before we give the highlights ng guidelines ng 2023 PBB, we'd just like to give some updates yung nangyari po sa 2021 and 2022 PBB. So for 2021, we have already completed this. Out of the 309 agencies, we have 71% eligible agencies. And this also, there are about 1,554,412 or 91% of the 1,702,446 total positions filled na eligible individuals for the FY 2021 PBB. Now for the 2022 PBB, this is the cycle that we are about to be finished. Out of the evaluated na 240 agencies, there are 60% ng agencies na eligible. We are still continuing the validation of 74 agencies. Rest assured that the agencies will receive their 2022 final eligibility assessment the soonest. Okay, so yun po yung 2021 and 2022. Now we will now discuss the highlights of the 2023 PBB. As mentioned earlier, the Memorandum Circular 2023-1 was issued last August 22, 2023. So essentially, we maintain the scheme, scoring system, and also yung eligibility criteria and conditions ng 2022. So, i-discuss ko lang po dito ngayon yung modified or yung mga changes na nangyari dun sa 2023 PBB. Okay, next slide po. So, the modified requirements, actually, we still have the same 4 requirements, yung process result, citizens client satisfaction result, agency accountabilities, at yun pong sa targets, we just included in section 4.0 of the PBB targets, we included the provision on the reduction, improvement in core services, which will assist the agencies in further improving government transactions. And also for the client citizen satisfaction result, the client satisfaction survey has been graduated and the criteria will now focus only on the 2, yung sa 8888 and contact center ng bayan. For the agency accountabilities, we have now the following new requirements. We have the report on the digitization initiatives and the continuing ISO QMS certification. So the ISO QMS certification is now an eligible agency accountability, and also the administration of the ARTA client satisfaction measurement. Originally, this was part, yung client satisfaction survey was part of the citizen client satisfaction results, but now it's an agency accountability. So for the timelines, we have some changes. For 2023, it will now be online submissions of the accomplishment reports through the RBPMS websites. And also there is a clause there in the new guidelines that if you are not able to submit requirements on time, there is a penalty of a 5% reduction in the rates of the PBB for late submissions. So, i-discuss ko na lang po in detail yung mga changes na ito. Okay. So, as mentioned, yung eligibility to the PBB and the scoring system, it still remains with that implemented since 2021. So each agency must satisfy the criteria and conditions under the 4 dimensions of accountability, yung performance results, process results, financial results, and the client citizen satisfaction. So we still have dapat the agency must achieve at least a score of 70 points and achieve at least a rating of 4 for at least 3 criteria based on the PBB scoring system. Next po. For the scoring system, it is still the same. For 2023, each criteria has the same weight of 5 points and uses the same rating scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is the highest. And the agency score for each criteria will be added up, and the maximum score that may be obtained by the agency is 100 points. And to be eligible, an agency must need to attain a total score of 70. The agency should aim for a performance rating of 4 in at least 3 criteria, and the unit most responsible for any criteria with a performance rating of below 4 will be isolated from the grant of the 2023 PBB. There is some modifications in the rating scale, and we are now doing away. This is for the performance results rating scale. So the performance results rating scale shall be scored as follows. To get a rating of 5, agencies should aim to meet each of the Congress-approved performance targets for FY 2023. So in case an agency is not able to meet its target for FY 2023, the justifications must be submitted together with the before forms to the Commission and Audit, the DBM, and the Bureau of Treasury as applicable through the DBM-URS. But for the scoring scheme, 5 po yung mamimit dapat. Para makakuha ng 5, you must meet each one of the 100% of the Congress-approved performance target. You will get a score of 4 if you only met 80% to less than 100% of the performance indicators of the Congress-approved performance targets. And if you met 70 to less than 80% of performance indicators of the Congress-approved performance targets, you will get a score of 3. And then pag 50 to less than 70, you will get a score of 4. And if it is below 50, the score will be 1. Wala na pong dati na meron, if the justification is due to controllable or uncontrollable factors. We will just look now at the rating ng agency accomplishment ng lahat ng mga Congress-approved targets. Now we go to the process result. So yung process result po, this is still the same with that of the 2022. So both NGAs and SUCs, the target for FY 2023 will be to have substantive improvements in ease of doing business or ease of transaction with respect to 2 critical services. So 1 core service na external based on the mandated function of the agency, and 1 internal or administrative service as declared in the agency's Citizens Charter and in line with the Anti-Red Tape Authority's Whole of Government Reengineering Program. As defined in the ARTA Memorandum Circular 2019-02, the services may be categorized based on the following. External service siya if it refers to government services applied for or requested by external citizens or clients or those who do not form part or belong to the government agency or office. And it's an internal service if it refers to the government service applied for or requested by internal clients or individuals who are within the respective government agency or office, such as but not limited to its personnel or employees, whether regular or contractual. So internal services, the internal services may be the back-end support services to regulatory functions related to permitting, licensing, and issuance of a privilege, right, reward, clearance, authorizing, or concession. In selecting po yung critical service, you have to, it should be prioritized by the agency, and the following factors should be considered. So it should be a core service, which is a process needed to achieve the overall mission and objective of the public sector organization. It is the most complained service with the greatest number of complaints received by the agency and other complaints handling agencies. The service that involves interagency action to complete the transaction, or a service that generates income revenue for the government, or a service that is attributable to the PREXI or major program of the agency. So for the process result, what we are looking for is substantial improvements or substantial reduction, either on the actual documentary requirements, the total processing time, overall transaction cost, multiple handoffs, the administrative burden or access to the service. If you recall po, in 2022, some agencies, we asked them to submit additional data or information. Yun po sana kung pwede, when you submit your 2023 submissions, when you report your improvements, it would be better if you already provide really evidence or quantifiable evidences to show the substantial improvement or substantial reduction in any of the in this criteria, yung actual documentary requirements, time, cost, administrative burden, access, and multiple handoffs. So the rating for the process result will be if you achieve substantial improvement to each transaction in your priority core, external, and internal service, the agency will get a score of 5. If the substantial improvement to each transaction is in the external, but it's but non-priority core service and internal service, the score will be 4. If the substantial improvement to each transaction is only for the external service, the score will be 3. If the substantial improvement to each transaction is for just the internal service, the score will be 2. And if the validating agency finds no substantial improvement to each transaction in both external core and internal service, then the score will be 1. So since we have observed some issues in 2022 regarding the process results, some areas for improvements that agencies can take note to ensure evaluation of reports in submission of the reports in a timely manner. Agencies should ensure compliance with the submission report of only one external and one internal support administrative service. We noticed in 2022, some agencies reported multiple services. Maybe you got confused because before in 2019, that was the time when, or 2019 and 2020, when agencies were still asked to report all improvements in all of their services. But for 2023, we are just asking for substantial improvement for one external service and one internal support service. So you just have to select one external and one internal service. The reported service should comply with the prescribed requirement description of a determined core service, the one I mentioned a while ago, which is under section 4.2.2. And the reported service shall be declared in the agency's most updated citizens charter and in line with its whole of government re-engineering manual. They should present actual results based on substantial improvements or reduction as mentioned in section 4.2.3. Agencies are required to submit the report also. This is in section 4.2.5 or the report on digitalization. Agencies must submit a report of tangible reports of digitalization initiatives or digital transformation of external internal services through the following: reduced waiting and processing time, reduced wastes in the process, lowered cost, real-time generation of reports for informed decision-making, expanded coverage of the service, or improved client satisfaction rating and similar outcomes. The digitalization report can be a support to your process results criteria, but yung report po itself is an agency accountability. So it is an agency accountability, but the initiatives may be reflected in the reported services of the agency. So in section 4.3, which is the financial results scale, so it will be assessed based on your the rate of your budget utilization rate or your disbursement BUR. If you got 85 to 100% disbursements BUR, then you will get a score of 5. If the disbursements BUR is between 70% to 85%, the score will be 4. If the disbursements BUR is 55% to 70%, the score is 3. If it is between 40% to 55%, the score is 2. And if it's below 40%, the score will be 1. So now we go to the citizen client satisfaction results, which is in section 4.4. For national government agencies and GOCCs covered by the DBM and SUCs, you should comply with the resolution and compliance to reported complaints from the hashtag 8888 portal and the contact center ng bayan of the civil service. So agencies should ensure the resolution of all complaints and grievances reported to the hotline 8888 and the CCB, and their compliance to the 72-hour prescribed period to take action on complaints as provided in EO number 6, 2016. Though the AO25 will rely on the validation reports of the Office of the President and the Civil Service, the agency may submit a report summarizing the hotline 8888 and CCB complaints received in FY 2023 and their status if resolved or pending. This means po that our validation report will really come from the Office of the President and Civil Service. But if you want to show as evidence that you complied with it, it's okay that you submit it to us. But we will still rely on the report of the Office of the President and Civil Service as the official validation report for the client satisfaction results. So the rating scale for the citizen client satisfaction results shall be assessed and scored as follows. Score of 5 if you were able to resolve or you have 100% resolution and compliance to both 8888 and CCB complaints. There will be a score of 4 if at least 75% resolution and compliance rate and if there are more than 250 tickets to the 8888 and CCB complaints. Or at least 80% resolution and compliance rate for those with 250 or less tickets. So a score of 3 will be given if at least 50% ang resolution and compliance rate to the 8888 and CCB complaints. If at least 1% lang po yung inyong resolution and compliance rate, 2 po yung inyong magiging score. If 0 ang resolution and compliance rate ninyo, then the score will be 1. Okay? So that was the 4 criteria, yung performance, process. Yun po yung mga changes dun sa mga major criteria ng PBB. Now we go to the agency accountabilities, which is in section 5.0. So for department, agencies, SUCs, and GOCCs covered by DBM, the continuing ISO QMS certification or equivalence of certification of at least one critical frontline service or core process and the administered client satisfaction measurement is now an agency accountability. So the oversight agencies are here. They will be discussing a little bit about the criteria for the agency accountabilities ng ISO tsaka ng CSM.
Thank you, Ma'am Ochi. First up, we have Attorney Melanie Quilantang, the Acting Chief Budget and Management Specialist of the DBM Systems and Productivity Improvement Bureau and Government Quality Management Committee Secretariat to discuss the ISO QMS requirement. Good afternoon, Attorney Quilantang.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Systems and Productivity Improvement Bureau, I'll be presenting the Annex 3 of the AO25 Memorandum Circular Number 2023-1. So, the annex na to entitled Guidelines on the Compliance and Validation of ISO QMS Certification or Recertification. This annex shall serve po as guidelines for agencies wherein the ISO QMS certification, recertification, or equivalent certification is considered agency accountability. So, to run down our discussion for today's afternoon, first, I'll be discussing the background. Then second is the guidelines in determining the compliance with the ISO QMS certification or recertification, then the activities and timelines of the validating agencies, then the request for reconsideration and exception, and the engagement with the certification bodies. Next slide, please. For this year's PBB cycle, so kung naaalala niyo po, yung ISO QMS certification, it served as a evidence lang sa process result. But this year, item 5.0 of the Memorandum Circular provides for the agency accountability. So bago po ito, to sustain po the institutionalization of compliance with the existing government mandated laws and standards, agencies and their performance management team shall continue po to implement, monitor, and enforce compliance with the following requirement within their agency. So first, highlight ko lang for departments, agencies, SECs, and GOCCs under the DBM, the continuing ISO QMS certification is considered as new agency accountability. Okay. Next slide, please po. Ayan. For this accountability po, only a valid ISO 9001-2015 QMS certification or recertification or the latest version of the ISO 9001 certification is considered as compliance with the subject requirements, such as that it must be valid as of December 31, 2023. Since the ISO 9000-2015 version is currently being reviewed and updated, so the new version po of the ISO 9000 would be available during the year, agencies are encouraged to endeavor in migrating to said latest version as soon as possible. And agencies po are reminded that they must pursue continued certification. They must ensure po that there is no gap or minimal gap in terms of the expiration of its previous certification and the effectivity date of its existing certification, except with justifiable reasons po. Then next one, the ISO QMS certifications must be issued by any of the certification bodies accredited by International Accreditation Forum member. However po, the certification bodies which are duly accredited by the Department of Industry and Philippine Accreditation Bureau to certify the agency's ISO QMS shall be preferred. The DTI po, DTI PBB, aside from being an IAF member, is the recognized national accreditation body po in the Philippines pursuant to Executive Order number 802 series of 2009. So accordingly po, it has provision of certain degree of control over the certification bodies engaged by government agencies on their ISO QMS certification. This will be better address the challenges in the validation process on acquiring information from certification bodies, among others. And then, would like to highlight po that beginning FY 2023, government agencies po which are still in its certification journey or those which have expiring or expired contract shall endeavor to obtain their certification or recertification from certification bodies accredited by the DTI-PA. Next slide is ARTA. The following certifications po, in case na wala pa pong ISO 9001 certification yung agency, these are the considered equivalent in as much as they similarly ensure consistency of quality of products and services through quality processes, enabling the provision of better service delivery and thereby enhancement of public sector performance. First is the Philippine Quality Award or recognition for specific office concern po. Then, second one is the ISO IEC 17025 or 17020 accreditation. The ISO 17025 is the laboratory accreditation, and then it is the process of assessing and endorsing for the quality management and technical competence po of testing, measurement, and calibration laboratories in all fields of science and technology. Then, yung ISO 17020 accreditation, it provides the formal recognition that an inspection service is capable of meeting the standards of quality, performance, technical expertise, competence, and professional judgment. Then the third one would be the accrediting agency of chartered colleges and universities in the Philippines, or this is what we call AACO, institutional accreditation, specifically for state universities and colleges. Then, fourth is the Accreditation Canada International Humentum International Gold Award. This is for the hospitals. And then for Supreme Audit Institutions Performance Measurement Framework of the International Organizations of Supreme Audit Institutions. This is for COA. And the last one would be Universal Postal Union's Quality Management Certification. Ito naman po for Philippine Postal Corporation. Then for the activities and timelines na po, the following po are the oversight agencies. It shall conduct the corresponding validation of compliance with the ISO QMS certification as requirement or evidence for other government agency other than the departments, SUCs, and GOCCs under DBM of their respective agency coverages. First is the Commission on Higher Education. This is for state universities and colleges. Governance Commission for GOCCs for government-owned and controlled corporations under its coverage. Then Local Water Utilities Administration for local water district, and the Government Quality Management Committee, Department of Budget Management Secretariat for departments, agencies, and then yun sa departments and agencies, it includes bureaus, offices, and other agencies of the national government, including the constitutional commissions, other executive offices, Congress, the judiciary, and the government-owned or controlled corporations under the DBM po. The next one po, accordingly, here are the specific activities and corresponding timelines for participating agencies. Lalo na sa departments, agencies, and SUCs po, the posting of the copies of ISO QMS certification or recertification or its equivalent certification not be later than December 31, 2023. I hope the agencies would nakapag-post na po sila ng kanilang ISO QMS certification kasi ongoing na po yung validation. And then, for your GOCCs under GCG and LWDs, their activities po shall be guided with their respective guidelines. So, if meron pong issuance po ang GCG and LUWA to this, yun po yung susundin po natin. Next po, for validation, for validating agencies naman po, the validation will start from January 2, 2024 until February 29, 2024. And their submission of the initial findings will be on or before March 14, 2024, while the GQMC DBM Secretariat po will conduct confirmation with the certification bodies or accrediting agencies, and the submission to the AO25 Secretariat should be on or before April 11, 2024. Next po. For this slide po, in case that the agency subject for compliance with the ISO QMS certification requirement that is deemed non-compliant, may request for the following within 30 calendar days from the posting of the result of validation for the ISO QMS certification as a requirement in the results-based performance management system website. First is yung request for reconsideration. It should be based on the justifiable reasons and factors that are considered beyond the control of the agency. Example is there are errors in the validity period of the certification. as prepared by the certification body or accrediting agency. And then the second one, this is a request for exemption in view of circumstances which make it impossible for agencies to comply with the ISO QMS requirements, such as there is an ongoing agency restructuring, functional and organizational modifications, and other related circumstances which may result in the agency's failure to effectively implement key activities of its documented quality management system, thereby hindering po its attainment of an ISO QMS certification, or could constitute po as a ground for suspension, cancellation, or withdrawal po ng existing certification. Then, next po, for the participating agencies, in order po to facilitate the conduct of the final validation of the submitted ISO QMS certification or recertification with the certification bodies, agencies shall first is, ito yun sa mga bago lang, include a provision in the contract with the winning certification body that they shall accommodate requests of GKMC DBM Secretariat, which is the SPIB po, and or other oversight validating agencies for information or documents relative to their certification or recertification. And or another is submit an authorization and consent to the certification bodies to provide information or documentation to the GKMC DBM Secretariat and or oversight validating agencies relative to their certification consistent with the Data Privacy Act po. So ito po, itong second one, this is Annex 3.1 of the AO 25 MC number 2023-1. Downloadable po siya sa website po ng RBTMS. Next one is, I would like to reiterate po na the copy of the contract or authorization and consent form shall be submitted po to their respective certification bodies, copy furnished po si DBM-SPIB on or before January 31, 2023, or within 15 working days from the issuance of the notice to proceed by the agency to the certification body, whichever comes earlier. Kung nakapag-submit na po yung ibang agency po last FY 2022 PBB cycle, no need na po unless may change po sa head of the agency or authorized representative po. So,
DPD, hindi kay Mama Angela yun.
Hello po. Ayan po. Would like to reiterate lang po na yun nga na yung authorization and consent form po should be updated every time na there is a change in the head of the agency or authorized representative. Ayun po. Thank you po. Should there be questions po, feel free po to email po ang SPIB sa dbm-spib@dbm.com.ph, or you may contact po our landline po, naka-flash po sa screen, 86573-3300, local 1227 or 1230, or other local numbers po na naka-flash po. May reach niyo pa po kami. So, yun lang po. Thank you po.
Thank you, Atty. Quilantang. Now, before we proceed, may I just remind our 1,300 Facebook viewers and 1,621 YouTube viewers that you can comment your questions. Just put in your name and your agency name. Thank you, everyone. Now, we would like to call on Ms. Kristine Joy Fajardo, the Division Chief of the Compliance, Monitoring, and Evaluation Office B of the Anti-Red Tape Authority, to explain the client satisfaction measurement. Good afternoon, Ms. Fajardo.
Good afternoon. So I hope I am coming in loud and clear for everyone's information. Okay. First, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. So we have medyo madami yung ating audience for today. So for today, this afternoon, I will be presenting the overview of the harmonized client satisfaction measurement as part of the eligibility requirements for the grant of the performance-based bonus for the fiscal year 2023. So this is part of the agency accountabilities. For PBB eligibility is to institutionalize the mandates of agencies under different laws. So included dito is the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 20. So based on the AO 25 Memorandum Circular 2023-01, one of the new agency accountabilities is the implementation or administration of the client satisfaction measurement. So adhering to the guidelines outlined in the ARTA Memorandum Circulars 2022-05 and 2023-05. So these two circulars or memorandum circulars on CSM issued by the ARTA are extensions of the provisions of the RA 11032. So pursuant to Section 20 of the said law, a feedback mechanism shall be established in all agencies covered by this, and the results shall be incorporated in the annual report. So this was reiterated sa Rule 4, Section 3B of the IRR. All agencies shall embed feedback mechanisms and client satisfaction measurement in their process improvement efforts. So the report shall include the results of the satisfaction survey for each service based on the guidelines, which will be discussed in the next slide. So this is, by the way, this is just an overview. So I believe most of our participating agencies have already attended the series of orientation initiated by the ARTA. So while this is a requirement under the law, so we wish to highlight that the harmonized CSM is not a mere matter of compliance. So next slide, please. So it does not only form part of the report card survey rating, so it also serves as the tool for the agencies in assessing their performance and determining the areas for improvement and clients' concerns and suggestions for the agency's appropriate action. So in the next slide, so this gives an overview on the purpose of the harmonized CSM. So the harmonized and standardized framework will ensure a continuous improvement and enhancement of service delivery towards a more client-centered transactions with government agencies. Since government offices have diverse functions, it can be challenging to measure and compare the service performance of these agencies. So their client satisfaction surveys are being conducted through different methodologies and are being submitted to different government bodies. So to do away with the repetitive feedback mechanisms for client and redundant compliance for agencies, so we develop the harmonized client satisfaction survey that can be applicable to all government agency and should be reported in a uniform manner. So for the guidelines for the PBB 2023, so as part of the new agency accountability this 2023 cycle, so agencies are required or must satisfy the following requirements: adoption and implementation of the ARTA prescribed questionnaire and methodology as prescribed under the ARTA Memorandum Circulars 2022-05 and 2023-05. So on the timeline of submission of the CSM report, so for the national government agencies, state universities and colleges, local water districts, the deadline of the submission of the client satisfaction measurement report is set until the last working day of April 24 of this year, so of 2024. While government-owned and controlled corporations under GCG, the deadline is earlier, so that is on April 15, 2024. And lastly, the submitted CSM report should be signed by the head of the agency's Committee on Anti-Red Tape to ensure the accuracy and completeness of the report. So I think that's the last slide. So we can in implementing the harmonized CSM, so you can refer to the memorandum circulars 2023-05 and 2022-05. So these are all available in the ARTA website. So I think that's the last slide for the harmonized CSM. So thank you and have a nice day.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Kristine Joy from ARTA for that. Hello po. And also kay Attorney Mel from SPIB. Thank you very much for your clarification of the requirements for the ISO and for the CSM. So balik po tayo ulit sa requirements ng PBB. So now let's go to the section 6.0, which is the eligibility of agencies and individuals. So to be qualified for the 2023 PBB, first kailangan po nating pumasa dun sa PBB requirements. And the agency must attain a score of at least 70 and achieve at least a rating of 4 for at least 3 criteria based on the PBB scoring system. So that is for the eligibility, yung pong 4 na requirements. Then there is also what we call the agency accountabilities. So agencies must comply with the agency accountabilities. In case the agency fails to meet a rating of 4, dun po sa mga accountability dimensions, the unit most responsible, including its head, for the criteria stated in section 3.0 with the performance rating of below 4 will be isolated from the grant of the FY 2023 PBB. For example po, out of that 4, yung performance results, hindi po na-meet ng agency yung kanyang targets and then ang score niya ay 3. So yun pong unit or persons responsible for not meeting yung mga performance targets na hindi naka-achieve ng 100% should be identified and isolated from the grant of the PBB. And then eligible delivery units granted the FY 2023, di pag eligible na po lahat and you get a score of say 100%, so you will all get the uniform rate across agencies including its officials and employees, and the corresponding rate of the PBB shall be based on the agency's achieved total score as shown in section 7.0. And then for individuals, must meet the very satisfactory rating and comply with individual accountabilities like submission of the SAL-in, liquidation of their cash advances, and the unit most responsible for the non-compliance with the agency accountabilities provided in section 5.0 shall also be isolated from the grant of the 2023 PBB. Now let's go to the rates. So the rates, it's in section 7.0. If the agency gets 100 points, then you will get equivalent to 100% of the 65% monthly basic salary or 65%. If the score is 95 points, then you get 95% of 65%. Basta po ang ating base is the 65% of the monthly basic salary. So we converted it now to magkano talaga siya in terms of the monthly basic salary. So 95 points will get 61.75% of their monthly basic salary. 90 points will get 58.5% of the monthly basic salary. 85 points will get 55.25% of the monthly basic salary. 80 points will get 52% of the monthly basic salary. 75 points will get 48.75% of the monthly basic salary. And 70 points will get 45.5% of the monthly basic salary. So my last slide will be on the timing of the submission of the requirements. Importante po ito because as I mentioned a while ago, meron pong mabigat na mangyayari pag late po tayo nag-submit ng mga requirements. So for 2023, we have also digitalized the submission. So submissions po ng mga 4 criterias, but particularly for annex, mamaya po ko po sasabihin yan. But yung mga submissions po is through the RBPMS website, and I will have a portion to explain paano yung online submission na yon. And then the submission of the requirement will be this February 29, 2024. If you're unable to submit by February 29, magkakaroon po ng penalty of 5% reduction dun sa inyong incentive or rate of incentive. For example, hindi nyo po na-submit ng February 29, nag-submit na kayo ng March. And then nung in-assess kayo, 100% po yung ang inyong score. So, instead na 100%, dedeductan po ng 5%. So, instead of 100, magiging 95 po kayo. Just because you submitted your requirements late. So, to avoid po yung penalty ng ma-reduce ang incentives dahil sa late submission, we encourage na i-follow po natin yung ating February 29 deadline. Okay. So, next slide. So, ito na po yung ating online submission. The online submission will be through the RBPMS website, which is provided yung link. May link dito, no? So all agencies should submit evidences of accomplishments of performance results, process results, financial results, and the citizen client satisfaction result as provided in section 4.0. Ulitin ko po, yung isinasubmit po dito ay yung accomplishments of the performance results, process results, financial results, and client satisfaction results as provided for in section 4.0 on or before February 29, 2024. Ito po ay dapat scanned or digital copy of the digital submissions. And if you have other editable MS Word or Excel files that you want as supporting documents or you think that will be used by the AO25 in evaluating your accomplishment, kindly upload it in the RBPMS website. Please note that the local water districts, GOCCs covered by GCG and LGUs, hindi po kasama dito sa online submission. You will still submit your reports, hard copy, directly to the oversight agencies. So for local water districts, you will still submit it to LUWA. GOCCs covered by GCG should still submit it to GCG, and local government units to the DILG. So the agencies must submit the requirements dito po. Ano po yan? If you will look at the Memorandum Circular number 2023-1, these are Annexes 2, Annex 4, Annex 9, and the evaluation matrix, which is an Excel file, and the report on digitalization through the RBPMS website splashed on the screen. So when you click that link, you will be directed to the login or this site, and then you will be asked to input your username and password. So the username and password will be provided by the AU25 Secretariat. We will email it to the PBB focal persons para po magamit, and it will only be one username and one password per agency. We shall be providing it to you starting on Monday, January 2022. So when you have your username and password, from the upper right corner, click login, or from the banner, you can also click account login, then type in your username and password to enter the submission portal. So when you are redirected to the main page of the submission portal, and here you will see the list of the requirements to be submitted and the tabs for submission, or if you want, kunyari nag-submit na kayo and then, meron pa kaming gustong isubmit, it can also be for resubmission. And also we provided a tutorial just in case nalilito po kayo dito sa portal ng submission. So your file should be ready and you should ensure that these are complete and correct before you begin submitting the requirements in the portal. It's just very easy, drag and drop lang po ng files para ma-upload siya dun sa upload bar, or click nyo yung browse or click on browse to attach the files. You may, kung kunyari po yung submission nyo, hindi lang yung annexes, you still have additional data that you want to previous slide please. Di pa po tayo dyan. Okay, so if your the other files or meron po kayong gusto pang i-attach, you can click lang po, mag-submit lang po kayo ng mag-submit doon. Nandun po doon sa lower orange, yun sa lower right corner na submit, mag-submit lang po kayo dyan. Okay. So, some reminders lang po, next slide, dun sa files. The file should to be submitted should be uploaded or aligned to the annexes specified in the AO25 Memorandum Circular number 23-1. If you want to look at it again, tingnan niyo po yung memo circular, andun po yung mga forms kung ano pong itsura ng mga annexes. The documents should be duly signed by the agency head and we consider lang po namin siyang complete and official pag sign po siya ng head of the agency. It must be in PDF file. Maximum file size po for one file is 10 MB. Should your file exceed 10 MB, there is a link on the right side of the panel that will ask you to compress the file. And an agency may submit multiple supporting documents per annex within the prescribed file size, yung 10 MB lang po. And then please follow for easier monitoring. We request that you follow yung pong pagne-name ng file. For example, if you will be submitting Annex 2, then name it as Annex 2.0 underscore supporting doc underscore 1. Kung meron pa pong additional supporting doc, gawin po niyong Annex 2.0 underscore supporting doc dash 2. So, next slide please. After ma-upload nyo po lahat ng mga documents ninyo, don't forget to please click the save para po ma-upload yung files doon at ma-consider po siya na na submission ninyo. Okay? Ngayon, the agency can no longer change or replace the initially submitted file once na-save siya. Pero pwede po siyang mag-resubmit. I-inform nyo lang kami na meron na po kayong na-submit, kailangan nyo pong mag-additional submission, you will just need to inform the AO25 that you will be submitting or resubmitting your requirements. So after successfully uploading and submitting the requirements, you will be given a prompt that we are acknowledging or a message will appear in your dashboard. And you just wait from the AO25 Secretariat acknowledging na na-receive nga po namin yung inyong online submission. So if you need to resubmit the PBB requirements, you can go back to the dashboard and click on the request for resubmission card. And you will see all the files you submitted and then just click resubmission button. And once approved, we will inform you to we'll give you the go signal to resubmit appropriate files for any particular requirement. So dun po sa dashboard, the agencies may click file resubmission to re-upload and resubmit their reports and attachment or supporting documents. Note lang po, may timestamp po ang ating online submission. So makikita naman po natin dito if you submitted before February 29 or if you submitted beyond February 29. So ino-note lang po namin na yung submission ninyo is beyond February 29 kapag nag-submit po kayo after February 29. So again, after resubmitting the prompt again, you will receive again a prompt message in your that will appear in your dashboard informing you that you have already resubmitted yung mga accomplishments ninyo. And then again, the AO25 will send to your PBB focal persons yun pong information na na-receive po namin siya. So we hope na yun pong na-receive naman po namin sa mga agencies yung names ng mga PBB focal persons. So we will send to your PBB focal persons the account logins for the online submissions via email. And we will be disseminating also this material for reference by the agencies. You may also contact us through the RBPMS website or email us or call us with any queries ninyo regarding the AU25, 2022, 2023, or even the submission of your 2023. So maraming salamat po.
Thank you again, Ma'am Ochi. We hope that everyone learned a lot from the discussions of Director Ablan, the DBM-SPIB, and ARTA. So before we proceed to the much-awaited Q&A portion of our program, we'll first have a brief 10-minute health break. So the time now... Good afternoon once again and welcome back to our program. Thank you to the 1,200 Facebook viewers and 1,500 YouTube viewers who are still with us today. Now, even with everything we've heard this afternoon, I'm sure that our active PBB focal persons still have questions or clarifications in mind. At this point, we have collected the questions you have sent through our link and through the comment section of our live stream. To moderate the much-awaited Q&A portion, I would like to call on the AO25 Secretariat's Ms. Nadine Victoria Malapira. Good afternoon, Ms. Nats.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Daine. So as much as we want to accommodate all the questions sent by our audience via YouTube and Facebook, we will limit them since we are also observing the duration of our session for this afternoon. Again, we would like to remind everyone that questions or clarifications specific to your agencies must be sent to our email ao25secretariat@dap.edu.ph. Our technical working group members and representatives from the validating agencies are here with us today. Nandito pa rin po sila Director Ablan, si Atty. Quilantang, and si Ms. Joy Fajardo from ARTA, and other members pa po ng ating validating agencies to help us answer the questions from our audience. So thank you. Now let's proceed po sa ating first question. All right, so our first question is from the Department of National Defense. Under the process results, what if there is no internal clientele as declared in the Citizens Charter that underwent substantive improvement? So may we ask po yung assistance po ng representative from the AO25 and ARTA. Okay, so yung question po, no, paano daw po if wala daw pong nakalagay na internal clientele na nakadeclare sa kanilang Citizens Charter that underwent substantive improvement? The question is from the Department of National Defense. Sige po. Si Director Grace po ba, no, from the Anti-Red Tape Authority. Director Grace, thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Can we be clarified lang if the question is kung walang internal service declared sa Citizens Charter, yun po ba? O walang internal service na i-report with substantial improvement? Kasi kung DND, I'm pretty sure there will always be an internal service.
Sige ma'am, noted po. Thank you po, Director Grace. Maybe we can just contact rin, no, communicate with the Department of National Defense to further clarify. Yes, ma'am.
Yes po. If ang question is isa lang ang de-declare nila with substantial improvement, which is the external service, then we will follow the rating that was previously explained by Director Ablan, na only 3 ang magiging score nun kasi walang declared internal. So lalabas, external service lang ang nakadeclare, yun lang ang meron silang report on substantial improvement, then the rating will be 3. Tama po ba, Ma'am Director Atty?
Yes po, nag-thumbs up po si Director Ochi. Yes, ang sabi nga po ni Director Grace, ang masuskoran lang yung external service. Alright, thank you po, ma'am. Next question po. Still po, no, for under process results. The question is from the DOSTP shared. If the core process already reached the optimum time for processing, that is 40 working days to, no, I believe, for prop evaluation, do you have recommendations on how to proceed or what would be the acceptable course of action? I believe this is also a relevant question from the Office of Transportation Security. Is it mandatory that we streamline processes every year, even when it would mean that the cut in the processing time may have considerable impact on the service to be provided. Okay, so let's give time lang po for our ano. Sige po. Yes po, Director Grace from ARTA.
Yes po. Director Ochi, if I may. Yes po. If the declared service already reached po yung optimum, there is always naman siguro other core processes that you can declare, that you can take a look at to streamline, to work on for the reduction. It can also be not just the reduction in processing time. We can also take a look at reduction in requirements. Ano po nga yun? And cost. Yun po. So yun yung mga ibang aspects na pwede naman din po nating tingnan. So kung nasagad na po yung naka-declare ninyo before na core process, pwede po tayo sigurong tingin dun sa ibang services that we are offering, and yun naman po ang pwede natin iayos, no? Same. Yun po. Director Ochi.
Okay, do we still have any other additional po from Ms. Ochi or SVP Mendoza? Wala na po. Okay na po yung sa ARTA. Alright, let's proceed to our next question. Sorry, Director Grace. Okay, next. For 2023, can we select the same two services that we reported in the previous year? Ayaw magpakilala nung ating nag-question ito.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Ideally, po, sana iba naman, para naman tayo ay tumingin din po ng ibang services within our agency. But kung yun din po ang isa-select ninyo, I guess that you would have to take a look at other parameters. So reduction in other areas of the same service. Or kung talagang yun din po, the same one, you will report, make sure that talagang substantial improvement pa rin po ang inyong mapapakita ang inyong pong mare-report on that. But ideally sana, iba naman po ang inyong mai-report.
Okay, kasi baka may iba pa namang services po, no,
Oo.
na pwedeng i-report ang ating agencies. Okay, thank you po, Director Grace. Next question po tayo from Lung Center of the Philippines. Okay, must all factors be met in selecting the critical services for modified Form A? Under process results pa rin po to. Yung modified Form A is our annex where the agencies report their accomplishment. Or can agencies choose among the factors stated in section 4.2.2 of our MC? So yung tanong po ng lung center, kung lahat daw po ba ito ay need nung service na i-report nila or any lang po, no? But it's stated naman here, no? The agency shall consider the selection of the services based on any of the following factors or a combination thereof. Ayun. So hopefully malinaw naman po, no? Sige, we may proceed to our next question. Okay. Sige, meron tayong questions dito na related again from Camarines Sur Polytechnic Colleges and an anonymous sender. Okay, should the report on digitalization initiatives cover only the two critical services nominated by the agency, or should the report cover all digitalization initiatives of the agency? And yung relevant question niya, is it okay daw to claim the same digitalization initiatives reported in the process results criteria for internal and external core processes? So in relation, ayan, sige po.
Actually po yung digitalization report, yung pwede pong yung dalawa to support if it's going to be used as a support for the process result. But yung digitalization report po as an agency accountability, actually report lang po kung ano po yung ginawa ninyong. Mas maganda po kung lahat ng digitalization report na ginawa ninyo because the AO25 would also like to know what are the digitalization efforts of the agency.
Thank you po, Director Ochi. Next question po tayo. Okay, from AFAB. For process results, our identified critical services were declared on the Citizens Charter but not included in the re-engineering manual submitted to the Anti-Red Tape Authority. Further, based on the ARTA guidelines, they only required at least one service for the re-engineering manual. Sige po. May we be clarified lang po dito, ma'am. Our representatives from ARTA. Director Grace, I think you're unmute. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
If the service is aligned not with the manual but with the initial re-engineering plan submitted to ARTA. Yun po ang ideally yun po yung sanang maganda po na na naka-report sa amin. Kung wala pang submitted na re-engineering plan, but as long as it's part of the declared Citizens Charter, it's stated in the Citizens Charter, sige, pwede po natin yung na-evaluate. With reflected improvement.
All right. Thank you po, ma'am, for answering that question. Our next question, please. Okay, so relevant question din to, both from the DOST ASTI and President Ramon Magsaysay State University. So what is now the operational definition of substantial improvements? Or for process results, how do the validating agencies define substantial improvements? How will the streamlining efforts at the back channel be accounted for? That is aspects of the process that are not reflected in the Citizens Charter. For example, system or UI upgrades, user interface siguro yun, no? To deliver faster services. So they are clarifying po kung ano yung operational definition natin ng substantial improvement. Paano natin masasabi na substantial yung improvement or reduction ng services? Okay. So yung EO25 Secretariat po and sa ARTA. Okay. So may we ask po the assistance of the EO25 Director Ochi, sila SVP Mendoza to help us answer. So meron naman po yun dito, no? Provided din siya sa 4.2.3, yung substantial improvements or substantial reduction. Yan, of the selected services may focus on the following areas of the selected services. So yung question po ng ating agencies, paano daw po natin masasabi or paano rin nila ma-identify if substantial na yung improvement na nagawa nila?
Sige, kami
Okay.
na.
Sige po. Thank you po, Director Grace.
Sige po. When we validated yung process improvement for the 2020, 2022, ayan, we were provided with the guidelines on how to take a look at what substantial improvement is based on the outcome sana that we can get in terms of reduction in processing time, meaning in days, hours, minutes, yan po. Reduction in steps, reduction in cost, and reduction in the number of requirements. So, based on previous experience po, kung alam din naman po ni EO25 to, that previously we've seen submissions like reduction in processing time, something like difference of 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Di ba po, tama po ba yung 25? Yan yung mga nakita natin before. So, we'd like to improve on that we can, the agency, if at all possible, can submit at least or make some improvements on the reduction of processing time na hindi lang 5 minutes po yung ibababa. And on the requirements din po and and cost. Yun po. So, yun po yung parameters na ginagamit natin in looking at substantial. Director Atty?
Yes po. Yun nga po some agencies declared na yung dati nilang process na 7 days, na-reduce ng 30 minutes. So parang hindi naman po ata substantial yung ganong klaseng reduction. But it was a reduction. So kung pwede po sana yung substantial, something na pag na-reduce po, ay mafe-feel po talaga ng ating mga client na na-ease yung kanilang process or transacting with your organization na ano talaga sila na relieve sila ng burden ng pakikipag-deal sa inyo. So instead na kailangan nilang pumunta sa inyo, so ginawa ninyo yung online, so at least nabawasan yung mga transaction cost nila. So malaking bagay na yon na nabawas sa kanila. So yun po yung mga substantial na hinahanap. At this point, hindi po namin mabigay kasi ng ano po yung figure pero we hope that agencies would really understand na pag sinabing substantial, yung malaki po talagang bawas sa part ng ating clients.
All right, thank you po, Director Atty and Director Grace. Moving forward, our next question is okay, from a local water district. So for local water districts, do we send the report on digitalization and report on process results to LUA or AO25 Secretariat? Do we have representatives here from LUA? All right. But ito po no, the guidelines of the interim PBB for LUA is already available po sa website ng LUA and also available po sa RBPMS website. The report on digitalization, as mentioned po, no, ito po ay sinasubmit rin po talaga sa AO25 Secretariat. However, for the process results, yung performance targets ng LUA, ay kailangan po nating isubmit sa LUA. I mean, yung performance targets ng water districts must be submitted to the LUA. Yan, nakalagay po yan sa guidelines nila. Meron po silang interim PBB guidelines. Separate po ito sa mother guidelines issued by the AO25 Task Force. Okay, thank you po. Ayan. So, moving forward to our next question. Okay, from Food and Nutrition Research Institute, in case there were no substantive changes or digitization initiatives in the core service and internal service, does it mean that we are not qualified to receive the PBB, or we will have an isolation case only? Sige po. Okay, for this question po, Director Ablan.
Yun pong process result is just one of the criteria. So if you did not provide any, did not score, pumasa dun sa process result, hindi po ibig sabihin na disqualified na kayo. But depende pa rin po yun sa overall score. If you achieve 70 points, then you will still be eligible for the PBB. Now, kung sinasabi nyo nga na hindi nyo na-meet yun, kung wala kayong substantial change dun sa core service, then it's possible nga that your score will be 3 or lower for the process result, then you are correct. Ma-isolate po yung unit or person responsible for achieving a score of 3 or lower.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Next question. Okay, iba naman to. From the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, are the outcome indicators included in the total number of indicators to be measured? Because some of these are attainable or measurable only by fiscal year 2028. Okay, so we have here representatives from the DBM, I believe so, from the budget management bureaus who may help us answer this question po. So ang sabi po ng DNR ng tanong nila, kung yung outcome indicators ba ay included sa total number of indicators na mini-measure, because there are some indicators that are attainable or measurable lang by 2028. So anyone po from the DBM may answer this question. Okay, we have here from the DBM-BMBs, sila Bureau B, Bureau E, to help us answer this question.
Okay na.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you po.
Hi, good afternoon po. We're from Budget and Management. I'm Acting Director General Ilagan from Budget and Management Bureau E. And we're handling the NR. As to the outcome indicators, it is included in the number of indicators to be measured. However, if the target is attainable or measurable by 2028, and we are evaluating the 2023, let's say 2023 program or indicators, we encourage the department to present interim target by 2022. Or although it is the target really is to achieve the indicators by 2028. On an annual basis, they should present a certain percentage on the accomplishment for that particular indicator. Parang interim po siya, interim na accomplishment for the certain indicator. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you po, ma'am. So if meron bang further questions yung DNR, no, they may contact yung DBM BMB. Okay, we have here si Asec De La Vega from the DBM, ma'am.
Yes, I would just like to give some additional for additional considerations as far as what has been provided by Director Gemma to the DNR query. Yes, that's true. I think it would be better and it would be more on the advantage of both of all concerned that milestones perhaps would be provided so much so that we can understand and we can really at least monitor and evaluate the whatever accomplishment that the agency would be reporting on. So, bali, generally, we look at the performance indicators, the PI, so that's annual naman yon. But in the event that the PIs given would really contribute to the outcome indicators then which are attainable after some number of years, then a milestone or interim targets be provided. Thank you.
Thank you po, ma'am. Okay. So next question po tayo. From Kalinga State University. Will the new Prexy indicators for the state universities and colleges take effect these 2023 accomplishments? Okay, so we have here our representatives from CHED to help us answer this question.
Sir Rian, please answer na lang.
Okay, Sir Rian Sabate. Good afternoon po.
Yeah, good afternoon, Nadine, and good afternoon po sa ating lahat. Currently, we are in the process of reviewing the current PREX indicators to align with the changes in higher education. No? But we have not yet finalized the new one. And since this is the evaluation of the 2023 accomplishments, the indicators and targets as published in the GAA 2023 will be used for this run of PBB FY 2023. But we are reviewing the current PBB structure, PREX indicators for the SUCs, and since we have already the prospective na siya, we have the GAA 2024 already published, so we still have to follow the old PREX indicators. Thank you.
All right, thank you po for that clarification, Sir Rian. Our next question. Under the financial results, questions from the NCMB and the DPWH. So can you further explain the difference between the points in the financial results rating scale since seemingly the achievement of the BUR overlaps? So example daw po, yung 55 to 70% for a score of 3 and 70% to 85% for a score of 4. What if daw that the agency achieves 70.5%, saan daw po magfo-fall yung score nila? At ganun din po yung question ng DPWH. May we ask for further clarification dun sa rating scale ng financial results? Yes po, okay. For the answer po no, from AO25 Secretariat.
Actually,
Director Achilles.
ano lang po kasi yun, syempre po pag 55 to 70, yung 70 po yun, sa 4 po talaga yun. Yung ibig lang po sabihin yan, may 70 po kasi na 68.98 or something, that's not 70. Pero rest assured, pag 70 po, 70, dun po yun sa higher na score, yung overlap po na yun. Sa higher po siya mapupunta.
Okay, thank you, Director Ochi, for clarifying. For our next question, okay, another question from AFAB. And AFAB is a GOCC. For the financial results, what budget will be used? Is it the GAA allotment only or the whole budget stated in the COB? Since we are an income generating agency, We also have a budget from IGF and MOOE. Also for the formula, will it only include the obligated amount, not the whole allocated budget? So may we seek assistance din po to answer this question from the DBM Bureau C. DBM BMBC po. Okay, while waiting po for the DBM, we have also a provision po sa ating guidelines, no, about the computation of the BUR for GOCCs and also yung agencies with fund transfers. Meron din po yung mga, ayan, GOCCs covered by the DBM, yung mga forms na kailangan nilang i-submit. Ayan, provided naman po siya under section 4.3.3 ng ating memorandum circular. Okay. Sige, we can move on to the next question po. From PhilMec. Will the citizen client satisfaction results only focus on the resolution and compliance of reported complaints from Hotline 8888 and Contact Center ng Bayan? So as mentioned po earlier, discussed by Director Atty for 2023 PBB po, you will be rated po or scored based na lang po sa compliance ninyo and resolution of the complaints for Hotline 8888 and Contact Center ng Bayan. In the previous years po kasi kasama pa yung citizen client satisfaction survey report ninyo dito sa rating scale. Sige po. I-add po tayo, ma'am. Wala na. Ayan po, as you may see po, no, as you can see po on the screen, ayan. Dalawa na lang po yan. Yung pag-determine ninyo ng resolution and compliance rates to Hotline 8888 and CCB complaints for the 2023 Citizen Client Satisfaction Results Requirement. Okay, thank you. Next question from PUP and PNP. Okay. Are Saturday, Sunday holidays and non-working hours included in the calculation for the 72-hour prescribed period? And concerning 8888 resolution rates of complaints, for the Philippine National Police, complaints referred to us ay hindi po ma-resolve within the 72-hour prescribed time under the executive order. So this afternoon po we have representatives from the Office of the President 8888 Complaint Center and the Civil Service Commission Contact Center ng Bayan to assist us po in answering these questions rather. Po. Anyone po from the OP or the Civil Service?
This is Jenica
Sige
po from
ma'am.
888.
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding po sa 72-hour prescribed period namin, hindi po included yung Saturday, Sunday holidays sa bilang. And nagkakaroon lang po ng adjustment kapag natanggap ng agency yung referral namin ng beyond 5 p.m. Magsisimula po yung counting ng 8 a.m. ng next working day po. Tapos po yung regarding po sa hindi ma-resolve within the 72-hour prescribed time under the EO. Actually, ma'am, ang hinihingi na lang namin po sa agency is initial, concrete, and specific action. Hindi na po yung full resolution ng report. Basta po, kailangan nilang ma-inform si client regarding sa action taken nila. Ayun lang po. 4888 po.
Okay, that's for hotline 8888. Thank you po, Miss Jenica. From the civil service po, if may clarification din po kayo dito, answer for our question. Yes,
Yes,
po, ma'am.
hello, Nadine. Good
Hi
afternoon,
po, good
everyone.
afternoon, Director Grace. Po.
Yeah. Yes, it's similar po with that of 8888. Same po, same din ang standard. Holidays, Sundays are not included, non-working hours, and also what is required is a specific action. Then what we do is we would close the ticket once the specific action is already reported to us by the agency. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you po, Director Grace. Alright, same po yung 8888 and civil service in the treatment. Okay, another question from UP Diliman. Okay, good afternoon. Why is the standard for achieving a rating of 5 on the CCS results scale so high? The agency is required to have 100% resolution of complaints, even when the complaints are anonymous and lack evidence. In contrast, the agency only needs at least 85% in disbursement BUR to achieve a rating of 5 on the financial results scale. Okay, so yung tanong po ng UP Diliman, bakit daw po kaya parang mataas ang standard sa pag-achieve ng citizen client satisfaction results? While naman daw po 85%, at least 85% lang daw sa disbursement BUR ay makaka-achieve ka na ng a rating of 5. Okay, so anyone po from our TWG members can answer this.
Okay.
Si Direk.
Yes,
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Nadine. Well, it's an observation on the question that actually it's a comparison of two different aspects that we score. But nevertheless, actually what is being required under the resolution of complaints is through both of the channels, both 8888 and the CSC, is the provision of the specific action. And when you provide the action and what on the ticket or on the complaint, then that is already considered as a closed ticket. And we like to emphasize that both the channels, we would look into the complaints even if it's anonymous, and yung resolution kasi dito, it's not naman actually yung till the end. What is important is that there is an action on the part, a specific action on the part of the agency being complained of, and that would suffice in the closing of the ticket or of the complaint that is received by both channels.
Alright, thank you po, Director Grace. That's from the Civil Service Commission. Okay, we may forward na po. So next question, moving forward from Philippine Science High School, Western Visayas Campus. Is the client satisfaction measurement mentioned in Section 5 of the MC similar to our customer client satisfaction survey? Okay, yung customer client satisfaction survey po siguro na minimension nyo dito yung previous requirement po ng AO25 AO25 task force. Okay. So is it similar daw po ba yung client satisfaction measurement ng ARTA? Hindi. Okay. Sige po, I'll clarify na lang din po ito, yung client satisfaction measurement is a requirement na po implemented by the Anti-Red Tape Authority as discussed po earlier by Ms. Joy Fajardo. Dati po kasi itong Customer Client Satisfaction Survey, yung CCSS ay requirement naman ng AO25 para sa citizen client satisfaction results natin. But it's almost the similar naman na format. Pero ngayon po for 2023 PBB, agency accountability natin, yung pag-comply po natin ng client satisfaction measurement na requirement ng Anti-Red Tape Authority. And again, dun po sa citizen client satisfaction results, hindi na po natin kailangan mag-submit pa ng CCSS. Ang mame-measure na lang po kayo doon, masuskoran na lang po kayo doon sa inyong compliance sa 8888 and contact center ng Bayan Complaints. Okay. Thank you po. Additional po, kung meron pa po si Artang idadagdag doon. Ayan na ba?
Okay na, Miss Nad.
Okay na po. Okay, thank you po. Miss Joy. Okay. A live question from YouTube. For the harmonized CSR, can an agency provide a justification on retaining its existing survey form for the rest of 2023 and apply the harmonized CSR starting January 2024? May we ask po a representative from ARTA?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Nad. So for this, based dun sa ating memorandum circular, the agencies can use their existing client satisfaction questionnaire, but their existing harmonized CSM questionnaire, as long as it still measures yung service quality dimension that is being required in the harmonized CSM or the ARTA MC 2022-05 and its amendment on 2023-05.
Okay, thank you po, Ms. Joy. Next question. So we can still accommodate a couple of questions po, no? Kung hindi na po natin mababasa yung questions na iba, we will still answer your questions po through email sa inyong agencies. So from the Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority, the deadline of customer satisfaction measurement, CSM, will be on the last working day of April, but the deadline of PBB requirements that includes the CSM is on February 28. Is the CSM report needs to be the final report for the PBB requirement? Okay,
Yun
sige.
pong isasubmit ninyo sa February 29 ba? 28? 29 actually yung deadline. Yun po yung annexes para po dun sa Annex 2, Annex 9, Annex 4, Evaluation Matrix, tsaka yung Report on Digitalization. Yun po yung kailangan isubmit ng February 29. Yun pong sa ARTA na CSM at agency accountability po ito, ang deadline po nila ay April. So wala naman pong problema kung kunyari sa February 28 ay hindi pa po kayo mag-submit ng CSM report ninyo kasi ang deadline po ni ARTA is April. Pero kailangan po ninyong isubmit yung requirements na nakalagay sa PBB na Annex 4, Annex 2, Annex 9, evaluation matrix at saka yung digitalization report. Okay po. Hindi po kasama dun sa February 28, 29 ang CSM ni ARTA. Si ARTA po sa April pa po yun.
Okay, thank you po, Director Ochi. Next question po natin. Okay, from the West Visayas State University, National Youth Commission, and Department of Education. For agency accountabilities, are there templates that should be followed for the new agency accountabilities? And is there a template for the digitalization report? what should be included in the digitalization report to be eligible for the accountability, for these accountabilities? Sige po.
Pwede pong ako muna dun sa digitalization report. Wala pong template as long as paki-flash po yung section 4.2.5. So, nandun kalagay naman po doon. Ito po, yun nga po, I mentioned earlier, the digitalization report can be to support yung inyong process result. Kasi it can be that you are reporting process results and then there are digitalization initiatives. So, the digitalization report will support that. Meron ngayon po, yung digitalization report that you need to submit, ang kailangan lang po is malaman kung ano po yung mga digitalization initiatives or digital transformation of external and internal services through the following A, B, C, D, E, F na nakalagay po sa guidelines. And yun po, there is no template. What we are looking at for the agency accountability is you be able to submit that report.
Thank you, Director Ochi, for that clarification. Okay. You are other validating agency members po sa yung new agency accountabilities natin na may changes sa ISO, DBM-SPIB po. If meron silang need na i-clarify sa templates.
Hello po. Yes po, yung sa Annex 3.1 po, updated po yung naka-upload ngayon sa RBPMS website. Kasi kung mapapansin niyo po yung FY 2022, mostly observation lang po sa mga nare-receive copy furnish po kasi kami. So nare-receive po namin, observation is that the yung mga new agencies po na nagsasubmit po sa certification bodies nila ng form, ang gamit po nila is yung 2022, which is process result pa po kasi si ISO QMS certification doon. So, ayun, remind lang po namin yung agencies na uploaded po sa RBPMS website po yung updated Annex 3.1 and highlighting po na agency accountability na po si ISO QMS certification requirement. Yun lang po.
Thank you po, Attorney Quilantang. Okay, so we move to the next question. Still under the agency accountabilities, a question from the Philippine Council for Health Research and Development. Based on the guidelines on PhilJEP's posting, if the agency is unable to update the system or post required documents for public transactions above 1 million pesos on PhilJEPs, the agency is no longer required to submit a letter of justification to PhilJEPs or AO25 IATF. So does this mean that the agency is automatically considered non-compliant? How can we explain or justify why we have not updated our PhilJEPs posting yet? So that is example that we have ongoing procurement evaluations for some PhilJEPs postings. Okay. So the Secretariat and perhaps rin po yung PhilJEPs may answer this question. Our representatives from PhilJEPs. Sino pang PhilJEPs dito?
Good afternoon.
Yes po, good afternoon po, ma'am.
Good afternoon po sa lahat. So ito po yung question po na hindi na po need ng submission ng justification to PhilJEPs or AO25. So hindi po automatic na non-complying na tayo. Yung pwede pa rin po ay mag-justify. Pero yung justification, isasubmit po natin sa performance monitoring team po natin, yung nag-handle po ng PBB sa agency po natin. Tapos sila po yung mag-a-assess kung acceptable or not yung reason. And then, pag nakapag-decide po si agency na ina-accept nila yung reason nung bakit hindi po na-update yung record sa system, ay magsisend na po kayo ng email kay AO25 para ma-rectify po yung status na nandun sa RBPMS. So yung sample kanina po, yung ongoing yung procurement. Isa po yun sa mga acceptable reason. yung mga early procurement activities. So yung po, ina-accept din po yung mga reasons na yun. Tapos kung gusto niyo po magpa-assist sa amin to assess po yung justifications, meron po kami po-provide na list ng mga acceptable justifications po.
Okay, thank you po, Miss Mary Jane from PhilJeps. Okay, next question. From President Ramon Magsaysay State University, for the early procurement activities, agency accountability, can we include projects which started bidding in 2023 and back resolution issued this second week of January 2024? Okay, so this question po, okay, from procurement from GPPB TSO po, Miss Kat Paala. Hi, ma'am.
Yes
Good
po,
afternoon.
good afternoon. If we go back to the definition po ng EPA, no, when we speak of EPA, we base it on procurement projects which are indicated in your indicative APP. So, ano po bang laman ng indicative APP natin? So, if this particular bidding which started in 2023 is in your indicative APP for 2024, no, and then yun nga, ni-start naman natin siya, then it can be included po. Considered po siya as EPA. So, ang sagot po dyan ay yes po. Pwede po. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Kat. So next question, we still have a number of questions pala rather. So hopefully naman po magstay pa po yung ating audience dito. Nakatutok pa rin, no, 1,000 viewers tayo sa Facebook and sa YouTube rin, no, around 1.3 1,300 rin yung nanonood sa atin ngayon. Salamat po sa pagstay. Okay, next question natin from Metro Rojas Water District. The MRWD is not receiving budgetary support from the national government based on the NEP. Our agency conduct an early procurement. The agency conducted EPA, but we don't undertake the required at least 50% of the value amount. Is this acceptable daw po ba? Si Miss Kat pa rin pala to. Hi, Miss Kat. Again.
Alright. Good afternoon sa mga taga Metro Rojas Water District, no? So, ang number one kasi nila dito is they're not receiving budgetary support from the national government. So, in short, wala po silang NEP, but they did conduct EPA. So, ang tanong ko naman sa kanila is, are you undertaking early procurement for PBB purposes? Because if it's for PBB purposes at wala kayong NEP, you will still issue a certificate of exemption. So, since wala kayong NEP, ang kailangan yung isubmit sa amin is certificate of exemption. Ngayon, since kahit wala ba kayong NEP, pwede kayong mag-EPA, yes. Pero, since meron na kayong certificate of exception, hindi nyo na kailangan i-declare itong sinasabing ginawa nyong EPA. No? Kasi for PBB purposes, exception siya. So, yun, mag-submit na lang po kayo ng certificate of exception. But it should be submitted on or before the deadline. Ayun. So, dalawa po kasi yung certifications natin. We have certificate of undertaking / non-undertaking, wherein you will need to provide a breakdown of the amounts of your plan versus yung actual na ginawa nating EPA, whether successful or not. And the other type ng certification na sinasabi natin, exempted tayo. So, ayun. So, since counted as exemption yung walang NEP, yun po yung certification na ibibigay natin. And then if it submitted before the deadline, then kumpleto dun sa mga requirements natin, like notarized siya, no, signed by the head of procuring entity, then we can, parang we will be able to evaluate as compliant po. Yun po, basta po na meet po natin lahat ng mga requirements for the submission of the certification. Thank you po.
Thank you, Miss Kat. The next question po natin Okay, from the Intramuros administration, will an agency with an expired ISO certification in 2023 be considered as non-compliant if it obtains a new certification, or probably if they have already obtained a new certification from a certifying body that is not accredited by the DTI PAB? Okay, from DBM-SPIB po.
Hello, good afternoon po. Regarding po sa question na ito, not necessarily po na magiging non-compliant na po siya as long as na ma-meet niya po na as of December 31, 2023, yung certification po from the new certifying body ay nakapost po and valid po. Tapos yun sa supposedly na dapat accredited by the DTI-PAB, we encourage po agencies na yung certifying body, dapat accredited siya ng DTI-PAB po since may certain degree po ng control kasi, especially if the certifying body is being accredited by the PAB po. And then, ayun nga, subject to existing laws, rules, and regulation po regarding sa procurement naman po ng certifying bodies. So, yun, basta as long as na yung certification valid as of December 31, 2023 and posted po siya sa transparency seal compliance po ito, and dapat na-meet niya rin po yung scope po na requirement din sa this requirement po. And na dapat one critical frontline services and or core process po.
Okay.
Ayun po.
Alright, thank you po, Attorney Mel. Next question. From the DND and an anonymous sender. How should the DND, as part of the security sector, comply with the requirements of the NCP, National Competition Policy Requirement? So, related question din po dito, are SUCs required ba to comply with the National Competition Policy Requirement? So we have here this afternoon po our representatives from the Philippine Competition Commission.
Hi, Nadine.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon to everyone. With regard to the first question, so for the covered agencies, we actually conducted series of orientations. So nakaapat na cycle kami last October and November. So in case that the agency was able to attend in one of those orientations, perhaps like the DND. So under Annex 5 po, nakastate yung ating 4 requirements in relation to compliance to NCP, which is part of or by virtue of Admin Order number 44. Just very briefly, we have the following for the agency covered to be able to constitute their NCP focal committee, and at least 50% of those designated members should be able to attend or complete the self-paced online training program so that they will be capacitated what the NCP is all about. At the same time, the third requirement is for them to enumerate what are those regulations, existing ones that they have, so that they can initially check if which of these regulations are relevant or partially relevant or not relevant to any competition. And lastly, being able to use that competition impact assessment checklist to see if that particular existing regulation, just at least one, would be able to somehow look at kung may competition component for that. So rest assured also na lahat po ng covered agencies po natin we actually proactively reach out to them. We send several email reminders to help them to be able to comply with this agency accountability. And on the second question pertaining to the SUCs for the 2023 cycle of the PBB, the SUCs are not covered. So for those na or not yet familiar kung covered ba yung ahensya nila, let's refer po sa Annex 5.1 of the PBB-MC 2023, wherein there are 55 government agencies are identified and covered for the 2023 PBB cycle. Thank you, Ms. Nadine.
Okay, thank you po, Sir Bernard. Okay, yes po, as mentioned po ni Sir kanina, lahat po ng annexes that he mentioned po are available sa ating RBPMS website. Ayan. Okay, so for our next question, okay, from the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Planning and Development ng UPLB, how does FOI or Freedom of Information Compliance affect the PBB of the unit? Is it necessary to accept all FOI requests to meet the PBB requirements? Okay, so we also have here this afternoon po representatives from the Presidential Communications Office may assist us in answering this question.
Hello po, good afternoon po. Daine Gamit po from PCOFOI. So for this question po, I think for the first one, mas masasagot po ito ng AO25 doon sa isolation part if in case po na hindi po nakapag-comply ang isang unit doon sa mga required na compliances po under the PBB. And for the second one, is it necessary to accept all FOI requests to meet the PBB requirement? I think this is aligned po doon sa ni-release or in connection po doon sa ni-release po na bagong guidelines na FOI wherein it included po yung certification po ng no overdue FOI request. So with that po, not only to accept all FOI requests but to provide necessary action to provide the requested information or deny it po if in case wala man po sa kanila yung hinihingi information or part po siya ng exception po. So again, with the requirement na no overdue request, kailangan po talaga na makater lahat ng mga request na na-receive po ng agency ng sa ating mga requesting parties po.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Diane. So for the first question po na FOI, no, Ms. Ochi, yung how does FOI compliance?
Since FOI po is an agency accountability, if you are found to be non-compliant with the FOI, then magiging non-compliant nga kayo. Tapos yun pong unit person responsible for the non-compliance sa agency accountability will be isolated.
Okay, thank you, Director Ochi. Next question po. We still have a number of questions pa, no? Kaya pa natin. Okay, from the DSWD, ang question naman nila ay, is the 5% reduction in rates applicable? Ito po yung penalty, no? Applicable to each incomplete PBB requirement? Or is it standard regardless of the number of incomplete requirements? Okay, so ang question po ng DSWD, kung yun daw po bang 5% penalty reduction in rates applicable to each incomplete PBB requirement, or is it standard regardless of the number of incomplete requirements? While waiting po, no, the AO25 Secretariat can help us answer this question. They are pertaining po, yung agencies pertaining to the penalty in the late submission ng kanilang requirements. Kung sakasakali raw po ba na beyond February 29, makakasubmit ang agency, applicable ba yung reduction na yun per PBB requirement or standard na siya regardless? Kung ilang incomplete or ilang late na submission ang kanilang mafo-forward sa AO25. Okay, may we ask po, assistance po from SVP Mendoza, Director Ablan. Okay.
Ako po, I will try. Kasi nga po, yung sasubmit natin sa February 29, very clear naman po kung ano-ano yun. So pag yun po na late, late na po yun. So 5% reduction. Baka po yung sinasabi nyo, yung mga agency account, kasi yun lang po yung deadline ng AU25 yung February 29. So yun po yung minimin namin na pag na late. Now, if the other agency accountabilities, yan po sa mga validating agencies po yun. Ngayon, sila naman po, pag late po kayo nag-submit sa kanila, I don't think din po tatanggapin nila ang late submission kasi like for example, submission ng field jobs posting may deadline. So talagang close po yung deadline nila. Yun po, hindi ko po sure. Pero pagdating po sa February 29 deadline, pag hindi nyo po na-submit yung mga requirements na yun ng February 29, yun po yung automatic na mayroon pong 5%.
Okay, thank you po, Director Ochi. Next question. So from YouTube, itong is an appeal on non-compliance in agency accountabilities allowed? Kung allowed daw po ba yung mga agencies to submit an appeal for their non-compliance sa any of the agency accountabilities? Okay, so yung mga requirements natin po under the agency accountabilities, may we ask assistance kung if you will allow po yung appeal for the non-compliance, appeal from the agencies. May nag-raise po na hand si Attorney Mel.
Hello po. Sa case po ng ISO QMS certification requirement, yung appeal po natin pursuant to section 8 of the Annex 3 po, we allow po request for reconsideration sa mga non-compliant agencies. Bale, this is within 30 days po from the posting ng non-compliant status sa RBTMS, agencies may send for request for reconsideration on the non-compliant status. So, ayun po. Thank you po.
So that's for IO. Thank you po, Attorney Mel. How about po sa iba pa nating agency accountability requirements? This is the chance na rin po to clarify with the agencies if we will allow or if the agency allows receipt of appeals. Sa GPPB ba? Si Ms. Kat? Or sa PCO? Ano pa ba? PCO, ARTA, PS, Procurement Service, PhilJeps.
Hello po, Miss Nadine and everybody. Good afternoon po.
Hello.
From PCO po, Freedom of Information. Sa amin po, sa FOI, yes po, we do allow po appeals for non-compliance as long as the stated reason po doon sa kanilang justification is beyond the control of the agency. Syempre po, we would also give leeway naman po depende po siya dun sa reason, but doon po sa question po ni ating viewer, if we do allow appeals on the non-compliance under the FOI program po, yes, we do allow po, we do receive and we do re-evaluate po yung kanilang submission under the FOI program. Yun po. Magandang hapon po.
Thank you, Ms. Trish. That's from FOI, no? Meron pa po ba? Or even yung sa National Competition Policy, if meron po ba tayong add PHCC.
Yeah, Nadine, in relation to the NCP requirements, considering that we understand this is the second year, no, roll out natin. So kami naman on the part of PCC, enabler. So in case na may mga delays, so ang kailangan lang po makipag-ugnayan yung covered agency sa amin. At kung kailangan nila ng assistance on how they can comply with each requirement, then bukas naman po ang aming tanggapan on that one. But in case na wala talaga silang compliance at all at mailagay na sila sa NC list for that, that in case that they would be formalizing their appeal, then PCC will evaluate the merits of their justification. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Joseph. Okay, Director Grace from ARTA. Yes, ma'am.
Yes po, Ms. Nadine. From sa side po ni ARTA, yung agency accountabilities that we will check for this cycle, we always base it on the guidelines set. So yung mga deadlines po, sinusunod po namin yun. So we keep those deadlines as part of the compliance po ng agency. Now, kung meron pong submission na nakita po namin na kailangan i-correct, we coordinate with the agencies and we advise them to correct the submission, but still we will accept the submission kung kailan po yung date nila na originally sinubmit. So kung within the deadline, okay po yun. Kapag ka naman po nakapag-submit na after the deadline, siguro depende sa circumstance, no? Pero most of the time po, we always advise the agency na pag beyond deadline po na NC.
Alright, thank you po, Director Grace. So I hope natulungan natin yung viewer natin from YouTube. Okay, so next question, siguro we'll accommodate mga ilang questions pa no before we proceed with the program. Again po, as much as we want to accommodate all the questions po, baka hindi na po tayo matapos ngayong araw, but rest assured po that the AO25 po will answer your questions po through email. We will communicate po with you. Our question is from the Department of Foreign Affairs. On Section 2.2, Annex 3 of the MC 2023-1, again po for ISO QMS ito, may we please ask clarification if we still need to resubmit an accomplished authorization and consent form if our agency have already submitted one from the previous year, 2022.
Hello po. Regarding dito, no need na po. Kapag nakapag-submit na po sa certification ng body ng accomplished form po nung previous cycle, no need for the agencies to resubmit another unless na may change po tayo sa head of the agency or yung authorized representative po, as well as kung nagbago po ng certification body kasi baka naman iba po yung certification body nila last year, then nagkaroon po ng recertification bago na po ulit, so they need to resubmit another one po. Pero kung wala naman pong changes, then okay na po yun.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Mel. Next question po. Okay, still under the agency accountabilities. Can the frequent changes of the head of the agency, so naka 3 times daw po sila in 2023, be a valid reason for the gap in the processing of the recertification of ISO QMS of an agency? So kung tatanggapin ba ito? And how long is the stated minimal gap in no gap or with minimal gap only in terms of the expiration of its previous certification and the effectivity of existing certification? Okay, si Attorney Mel ulit, ma'am.
Hello po. To our viewer from Facebook po, po siya, dun sa first one, it depends po. Kung yung head of the agency po, di ba 3 times nagpalit? What if the reason po, na-mention ko kanina na parang justifiable reason if there is restructuring sa agency. Kung yung source po or yung cause po ng change in the head of the agency is restructuring, possible siya maging justifiable reason sa pagiging non-compliant. Kung yung gap is malaking gap po ito at nagkaroon ng non-compliant status si agency. Pero kung hindi naman po non-compliant si agency dito, kahit 3 beses po siyang nagpalit po ng head of the agency, wala naman po siyang effect. Basta, yun, as of December 31, 2023 po, valid po yung certification po natin. Kahit yung gap po is dapat, hindi po siya nakaka-affect po dito. Then, for the second one naman po, viewer po sa YouTube, ano po, how long is the stated minimal gap po or no gap or with minimal gap? So, kung yung sa mga familiar po sa atin sa recertification process po, malaman po natin na nagkakaroon po ng gap yung certification if bumalik po yung audit ng stage 1. Yung hindi po sila nakapag-conduct ng recertification audit before ng expiration date. So, more or less po 1 to 3 months po. Pero wala po kasi tayong perfect or hindi po siya quantifiable kasi depende po ito sa certification body kung kailan po sila mag-a-allow ng, kung kailan po nila i-reconsider na recertification audit pa itong ginagawa natin ngayon or babalik tayo sa stage 1 audit. Ayun po. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you po, Attorney Mel, for helping us answer again this question. So, we're down to, last question na ba to? Okay, from GPPBTSO. Regarding the individual eligibility to the grant of the PBB, may we respectfully inquire if an agency is authorized to add additional eligibility requirements for the PBB aside from the VS or yung very satisfactory rating in the agency's CSC approved SPMS guidelines. Okay, allow daw po ba sila to add eligibility requirements? Okay, sige po, si Director Grace po from Civil Service, ma'am.
Wow, okay. Well, actually the guidelines for the PBB are clear to who would be eligible for it. So since the budget for the payment of PBB, especially for NGAs, is being provided for by the national government, so the budget is being provided for us, then the qualification should be based solely on the eligibility requirements as provided for in the guidelines. So very clear naman doon na what is required insofar as performance is concerned is VS. So yung additional requirements that is already outside for what is provided for in the guidelines. So in short, well, to my mind, no. Cannot provide for additional eligibility requirements apart from those that is declared in the guidelines that is formulated by the TWG and at the same time approved by the Department of Budget and Management. Okay, thank you.
Thank you po, ma'am, for helping us answer that question. All right, so that ends our Q&A session. Maraming salamat po sa lahat po ng mga nag-send ng kanilang questions. Again po, kung meron pa po silang questions specific to your agencies, you may send them to the AO25 Secretariat at dap.edu.ph. You may also call us po sa aming phone numbers. And we would like to thank our technical working group members and validating agencies for helping us clarify and answer the questions sent by our viewers. Salamat po. Last request na lang po for our TWG and validating agencies if they can turn on their cameras for a photo op And para po sana makita tayo ng ating audience this afternoon na kasama nila. Okay. Alright. Okay, sige. Ayan, nakikita po tayo na ating viewers. We would like to acknowledge po the presence of our Technical Working Group Chair, Asec Bravo, from the Department of Budget and Management. Sir, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon, Secretariat. Thank you for the participants and those who facilitate this meeting. May request lang ako if we can have a transcript of all the questions raised and their answers so that we can probably review and give copies to other agencies who would like, most probably they have the same questions, but it will be easier on our part.
Yes, sir. The Secretariat po will issue an FAQ, frequently asked questions list po. Will be disseminated to all the agencies. Thank you, sir. Alright, sige po, on my count po, no, smile po tayo. Ilang pages tayo? 3 pages. Yung EO25 Secretariat din. Nandito kayo. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, next page. Just hold lang po yung mga smiles nyo kasi we're not sure kung nasan kayong page. Pero sige, another one. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, and then last one. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, sige. Salamat po. Hi po tayo sa mga viewers natin.
Thank you,
Luzon,
thank you.
Visayas, Mindanao. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
po.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nadine, for moderating the Q&A portion. That was amazingly. Thank you for the participants for being so active, and thank you for, once again, to our TWG members, the representatives from the validating agencies, and of course, the Secretariat who provide clarification to the queries. So for our participating agencies who still have questions, you may continue to reach us through our contact details that's currently being flashed on your screens. Thank you. We have now reached the end of our online consultation meeting this afternoon. Please don't forget to fill out our evaluation survey form, which is accessible through this QR code. Now, while you guys are scanning the evaluation form, we would like to thank the members of the TWG and validating agencies for joining us. Thank you very much. And on behalf of the AO25 IATF, TWG, the Secretariat, and our oversight agencies, we would like to thank everyone for actively participating in today's activity. Thank you very much. Magandang hapon at maraming salamat po.